Good morning, everyone. I am Reverend Donna Starr, and I am the community minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Eugene. And I want to welcome everybody here this morning to our Sunday gathering. It's a little rainy this morning, so I really appreciate so many folks coming out to do our morning meditation. And welcome everybody who's joining us online, snuggled up in your house or your robe or your blanket, wherever you're at. Know that we're all welcome here. I'm going to be leading us in a meditation that was shared yesterday in the Foundation's Spiritual Mind Treatment Workshop. I was assisting my wife, Reverend Linda Landry Starr, is facilitating that class, and I was in the other room and I heard it and I thought, wow, that sounds really beautiful, and I wanted to share it with everyone because it seems really amazing. So if you feel comfortable, I want to invite you to close your eyes, find a comfortable way to be in your body, wherever you're at, settled in your seat, feet on the floor, or if you're lucky enough to still be in bed, just find a comfortable place where you can just let your mind be free. So take a few deep breaths with me, breathing in, filling your lungs down into the bottom of your lungs, and maybe feeling your rib cage expand a little bit out to the sides, and then releasing it nice and slow. And we'll do one more nice deep inhalation and releasing. And as you relax, and you can feel your body becoming free of any tension that might be stored there in your shoulders or stomach, neck, jaw. Just letting go of any place in your body that might be holding on to energy, and let all your thoughts and mind just drift. And I'm going to invite you to place your hands over your eyes. And silently to yourself say, I now free my eyes to see clearly and fully the path to my highest well-being. I free myself to see the highest and finest in everyone I meet. I know that everywhere I look, I see the face of God. And now place your hands over your ears. And silently to yourself, I now free my ears to hear life's songs singing through the wind in the trees, through the birds in the air, through the waves of the ocean, and through the lips of those that I meet on my journey. I release and lose me, the gift of hearing the essence of each person's individual message. And now place your hands on your lips and say silently to yourself, I now free my lips to speak words of sensitivity, compassion, and truth. To speak clearly, honestly, and powerfully of my true nature, to honor, through my speaking, the true nature of all that I meet. And now cover your heart with both of your hands and say, my heart is open and expanding to embrace life with a passion and intensity that heals and empowers me and creates vibrancy and aliveness for myself and all around me. Now place your hands at your sides and say, I know that my body is my home and I love it. I honor it. I listen to it, for it contains wisdom and insight and will work with me toward my greatest well-being. From this day forward, I will nurture and cherish it just the way it is, as I gratefully express my highest good. I'm going to repeat the blessing. You're free to use the hand movements if you like. I now free my eyes to see clearly and fully the path to my highest well-being. I free myself to see the highest and finest in everyone I meet. I know that everywhere I look, I see the face of God. I now free my ears to hear life's song singing through the wind in the trees, the birds in the air, the waves of the ocean, and through the lips of those I meet on my journey. I release and lose in me the gift of hearing the essence of each person's individual message. I now free my lips to speak words of sensitivity, compassion, and truth, to speak clearly, honestly, and powerfully of my true nature, and to honor through my speaking the true nature of all that I meet. My mind is now free to think expansive, visionary thoughts and to dream fully and richly of my highest potential. My thoughts are the tools through which I fashion my tomorrows. My heart is open and expanding to embrace life with a passion and intensity that heals and empowers me and creates vibrancy and aliveness for myself and all around me. I know that my body is my home and I love it, honor it, and listen to it, for it contains wisdom and insight and will work with me toward my greatest well-being. From this day forward, I will nurture and cherish it just the way it is, as I gratefully express my highest good. And now, know that your accomplishments and contributions are created through the spirit and intelligence that is greater than all that you are, through your intentions, thoughts, and actions, and that your existence matters in the total stream of life. Say silently to yourself, I now free my whole being into the creative process of God. I know that my desires and wants flow from this creative source within me, through me, and I trust and let it go. And so it is. Thank you for joining me this morning in this meditation. We will have our gathering experience at 10:30. I thought I saw some coffee being brewed in the social hall, so you're welcome to join us in there for some coffee. Thank you.
Welcome. Good morning. We're so happy to see all your bright and shining faces. My name is Kathy Day, and I'm a member of your Joy Notes team, and this is
Alice Haggerty.
And so we'll be leading you in a congregation song, so please rise up. The lyrics will magically appear.
God is where I am. God is where I am. Wherever I go, whatever I do, God is where I am. Love is where I am. Love is where I am. Wherever I go, whatever I do, love is where I am.
Peace.
Peace is where I am. Peace is where I am. Wherever I go, whatever I do, peace is where I am.
Joy.
Joy is where I am. Joy is where I am. Wherever I go, whatever I do, joy is where I am. God is where I am. God is where I am. Wherever I go, whatever I do, God is where I am.
Right here and right now. Turn to your neighbor and let them know how glad you are to see them here.
I am glad to see you. Yay!
Okay, time to come on back.
Little meditation here. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and all I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world.
Thank you, Joy Note leaders. That was wonderful. Two beautiful songs. As I just said to Reverend Linda, I hadn't heard that first one before. So anyway, I really liked it a lot. My name is Kathy Geeson. I'm presider for today. And welcome to Center for Spiritual Living. I'm glad that so many of you could come to our gathering today. I see a lot of faces that I don't recognize, and that's what's always great, is to see the regular people that we see on a generally regular basis, and then people who are new. So welcome to all of you who have never, if you haven't been here or I haven't met you. There is a small, I think it's blue or green envelope, not envelope, little sheet out in the foyer. that if we ask you, we'd ask, it's blue. Thank you, Kathy. Show and tell. That would give you, that you would give us your information, and that way we could be in contact with you about things that are happening here at the center. As I've said before, on Wednesdays, Susan from the office sends out a what's happening at the center, and it's a midweek, just not just of the midweek, but everything that's happening for the future and classes and other gatherings and meetings. So it'd be great to have your email information so that could come to you. The Center for Spiritual Living, I have been coming, I figured out, I think I've been coming 17 years. Is that how long you've been here, Linda? 16, okay. Because my first Sunday was her first Sunday candidating. And so my neighbor, sometimes Linda talks about the Sally Fields moment in, what's the movie? Anyway, when she says, I'll have what she's having. Well, my neighbor never invited me to come, but she was is the most positive person I had ever met. And so finally, after knowing her for 2 or 3 years, I said, could I come, could I go sometime with you? And here I am. It's been wonderful for my life. It's made a huge difference, and I'm so glad that I have the spiritual principles that we have learned here, that I've learned here, to live my life and keep, I was going to say improving. Just keep growing. Just keep growing. We have a global vision, and we go through them throughout the year. And the one today, I'll read, and then I'll just read it once. We see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with his or her highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. Our presider for the day, or our practitioner for the day, is Reverend Donna Starr, and I'm going to invite her up to give an opening treatment before we begin the service of the gathering. But first we're going to stand together and sing We Are One.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Reverend Donna Starr. I want to also acknowledge that holding high watch today is Reverend Linda Lundry Starr. And if you're not familiar with what high watch means, she is holding a higher vision, a higher consciousness for our gathering today, for everyone here, just knowing the goodness and truth of all that is being spoken and all that is being felt. And we're grateful for that service that our practitioners and ministers provide during service. So I'm going to provide a spiritual mind treatment. So if you would be comfortable, just find your prayer pose, whatever that looks like to you. We are one. We are one, one, one. There is only the one thing happening. And that is life. And it is called by many, many names. Yeshua, the universe, God, Spirit, love, light. Whatever we choose to call it, whatever feels comfortable in our hearts, it is still that one thing, and that is the eternal presence, love and light, joy and peace, power, strength, love. On this day, I celebrate that oneness. I celebrate the oneness of humanity. I celebrate the oneness of our hearts. I celebrate the oneness that we all share with each other and with every living thing on this planet. I know that Spirit is all that there is. I know that Spirit is everywhere present. It is present in the seen. It is present in the unseen. It is here as me. It pulses through my veins. It breathes through me. It expresses through me and as me. It is the thinker of the thought. It is the life that I experience. And I know this truth. I know it's true. And as I know that this is the truth for me, I know it is the truth for each and every person that is here. Here's my word. I know that this word is coming to me and through me from that divine intelligence that is infinite. I know that if there is any question in my life, all I need to do is turn within to that divine voice, to listen, and I will be shown the way. And I will know what is mine to do. That divine intelligence, that universal knowingness is available to me at all times. So I have no need to fear. I have no need to be sorrowful. I have no need to feel lost. Because I know that I am the divine expression of Spirit, that my life is perfect, whole, and complete as it is. I know this truth for myself, and I know this truth for each and every person here today. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to know this truth. I'm so grateful to live a life of joy and peace and harmony and happiness. I'm so grateful to be able to be empowered to make changes in my life that affect the world around me. I know that as I heal and grow and change, I know that I am changing the world to make a world that works for everyone. I'm just grateful to know this truth, and I know this truth for our meeting here today. This gathering is blessed. And I release this word to the law that says yes to all it is. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Donna. Always that reminder that we are one. We are one. We are one. It's beautiful. Donna beautifully explained what High Watch is, and that Reverend Linda Lundy Starr is doing that. Today's message is from Reverend Linda Finley. The title is Vulnerability, Cracks and Canyons. Before our special music, we are going to do our April affirmation. I will read it through once, and then I'll ask you to read it with me if you choose. Because I am willing to step into the power and possibility that vulnerability brings, I create expanded space to live and grow. As I bring my unique expression to life, I make safe space for others to do the same. Together? Because I am willing into the power and possibility that vulnerability brings, I create expanded space to live and grow. As I bring my unique expression to life, I make safe space for others to do the same. Thank you. And so it is beautiful. And our special music before Reverend Linda speaks today is by one of our all-time favorites, Haley Loren.
Yes.
Hello. It's a rainy Sunday. I would rather be no other place right now than here with you guys. Wanted to do this song I haven't done in several years by a group called Bliss that actually a member of this congregation, I can't remember who it was because it was so many years ago, gave me a CD and said, I think you'll find some good songs on here that you'll want to sing here someday. And so thanks to that person, I found this song and a couple others that I've done of theirs. But this song really spoke to me for today's theme. It's called Be Who You Were Born to Be. And I'll just let the song speak for itself, but I hope it moves you as it does me. No more time to waste, no more excuses. Gotta reach out your arms and embrace the sun. No more time for self-pitying abuses. Gotta stand up and shout and say, I am the one. 'Cause there's been too much crying and talk of being free. Gotta jump off that cliff and be who you were born to be. No more time to waste on photos of the past. There's a star with your name on it and love that's gonna last. 'Cause there's been too much holding on and talk of being free. Gotta take it all with you and be who you were born to be. Now I know the ice is melting and the ships are going home, and the wind is getting colder and we feel more and more alone. Stop all the excuses, got the answers all for free. Jump off that cliff and be who you were born to be. Be who you were born to be. Ba-da-da-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-da. La da da la da da la da da la da 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 la da da la da da la da 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 da. Be who you were born to be. Who you were born to be. Jump off that cliff and be who you were born to be. Thank you, Matt and Mo. Thank you, everybody.
Please join in this opening song to open. To open to receive. I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening. I am opening. My heart is
I let go. I let go of this morning and what it was. I let go of this afternoon and what it's going to be. And I simply am present here in the now. In this moment. The only moment I have ever. For I cannot go back and fix the past. And the only way I create my future is now. And so I just stop and let this space, let this time, let the sound, let the light inform me, guide me, lead me. Into the truth of who I am. One life, one power, one source, one substance, out of which everything springs, and in which everything lives. I let go. And let it be. And so it is. Thank you, Matt. Thank you so much. And Haley, that beautiful music. I so appreciate that. Vulnerability. I mean, if vulnerability weren't enough to make you feel a little bit queasy, the idea of cracks and canyons will probably do you right in. And what's funny, you think, well, I could deal with a few cracks in the sidewalk, but those are the things that you catch your toe on and fall. And can often, a canyon you know to be leery of, but a tiny little crack is something that can catch you up. We have right now a world that is in interesting shape, that is going through interesting times. I have every now and again bring up that I never understood why it was considered a curse in China to "may you live in interesting times" until I actually lived in interesting times, and then I realized what they meant. And so we look to a higher way of seeing things. stepping back from the cracks so that the canyons become cracks. So that we see things from a higher vision, from a higher way of being. I've seen some of these memes on Facebook that are the idea that, okay, here's the earth, and then it starts panning out. You know, you are here on the planet in a little X, and then it starts panning out and panning out and panning out and panning out. And finally, there's this teeny tiny little speck in the universe that is where our planet is, and we're a teeny tiny speck on that planet. And that's what I'm talking about, is can I pull back from my fascination with the minutia of all the ways things have gone wrong and just see the big scheme of things. And I'm going to talk some of that today, I'm just going to talk about a lot of stuff today, and we'll see where it lands with you. This is one of those times, it only happens about every 30 years. I saw something that said it's been 33 years since the last time, but the time before that it was a different amount of number, but it falls approximately every 30 years that Passover, Easter, and Ramadan are coinciding with one another. And see, what a lot of people aren't aware of is they're all three Abrahamic faiths. They all come from the same place, from Abraham. The children of Abraham are the tribes of Israel. And Ishmael, his child with his wife's servant, is considered the source of Islam. But it starts with Judaism. And then Jesus happens, and Christianity is born, and then about 500 years later, Muhammad gets an insight in a cave, and Islam is born, and Jehovah and Yahweh and God and Allah are all referring to the same concept. And so many people in the world, and especially in our country, do not realize that we're cousins. This is just like the Hatfields and McCoys thing going on here. This is all a family evolving, and Islam was considered to be an outgrowth and considered Jesus a great prophet. They're not anti-Christian by any stake, but that's their heritage. That's where they come from. So Passover began on Wednesday, and Jews are celebrating the biblical story of the Exodus from slavery from Egypt and their protection during that time. Christians are celebrating Easter, which commemorates the death and resurrection. Today is the resurrection day of Jesus, the Christ. And Muslims are observing Ramadan, which is a holy month where they focus on fasting, prayer, reflection, and community. And what we're looking at is a singular central force for all of these faiths. And yet we get caught in the details of how we worship differently and think, well, that makes them wrong. I am going to give you I haven't heard back from Gary, Lynn, and Danny yet, but I think our theme for the October conference is the U2 song, There Is No Them. It's called Invisible, but the chorus is There Is No Them. Because I think we really need to be in a space now where we realize there is no them. No matter how much other people may be theming in my mind, there is no them. There is only us. There is only us. There is only one. And so I want to move into the place of vulnerability and what it is that we're doing from the idea that there is even when I get caught up, that was what Dr. Holmes said in The Science of Mind when he studied all the major religions. He says, when you take away the robes and the candles and the incense, we're all teaching the same thing. The difference is in how we do it. But what we're teaching is there's one of us, we're all connected. happens to me reflects on you. What happens to you reflects on me. And everything is interconnected. It is intersectional. It is interdependent. We are all part of one really funky, strange family that we have to be tolerant of, not just tolerant of, but inclusive of and loving of one another. And so this year, when we're looking at our theme of living out loud, which means being who we are, acting as though we believe this, where Dr. Holmes says it's a whole lot easier to teach this than it is to actually do it, which is why I'm a minister. You didn't realize that. But the whole thing is, in order to be who we came here to be, we have to act like what we believe. If I say I believe we're all one, I have to catch myself when I start theming. It doesn't mean I don't feel the pain. It doesn't mean I don't experience the hurt, because we do not bypass. But what I have to do is say, I've got this pain. This is upsetting me. What's going on in me? I did a lot of study with Parker Palmer's work over the years. He's a Quaker who's an incredible teacher. And one of the things he taught, when the going gets tough, turn to wonder. I wonder why this is bothering me so much. I wonder why this hit me so hard. I wonder what they're thinking that makes them say something like that. What kind of hurt are they experiencing? To stop as much as I can, pull myself out of judgment, if I can, when I can. This month we're looking at the power of vulnerability, which is being willing to basically be vulnerable, which can involve looking stupid sometimes, with that fear of, if I'm really, if I say what I really feel, am I going to be judged? Am I going to be laughed at? Am I going to be bullied? I was a kid who was teased a lot. And it's making me so sad, because I'm seeing more and more cases of middle schoolers who are committing suicide because they're being bullied. You know, we don't account for the trauma that children go through these days. And this is where we're all being called to be vulnerable with one another and to care for one another. And the sad thing is, the kids that are doing the bullying are probably traumatized kids that have been bullied at home. It's a chain. You know, I used to think when I was a little kid and in the Presbyterian church, you know, that phrase, the sins of the fathers are visited unto the seventh generation. I thought, well, that's just unfair. That's just not right. And then I got into this teaching and I discovered that the sins is an Aramaic word meaning to miss the mark, to miss the target. It's an archery term. When we sin, we have missed the mark. We didn't hit the bullseye. That's all in the heck it means. So if we go, the mistakes of the parents are visited unto the seventh generation, it's like, oh, yeah, I've seen that, you know. So-and-so grandfather did this, so the father did that, so the mother, you know, and it goes down a line. But when we stop and are willing to share our authentic feelings with someone we can trust and be vulnerable, we give them permission to be vulnerable. If I want my kids to talk to me real, I have to talk to them real, and that's uncomfortable. But it has to be done if I'm going to create a space where they feel comfortable with that, and I have to start when they're little. Fears, big ones and small, inhibit our willingness to be real. I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to hurt myself. I don't, you know, we have this dialogue, this gerbil wheel we run through of all the ways we could do it wrong and be a failure. And we have to stop that. We have to stop beating up on ourselves. We have to stop creating ways in which we can fail tremendously. And just fail in little bitty increments, because when we fail in little bitty increments, we learn. We learn not to do that, what to do, what not to do. Centers for Spiritual Living. I was not really pleased when we went with that name, when they did the branding and everything. I really liked being religious science. It felt good to me, but it kept getting mistaken for Scientology, and it's like, no, we're not that, for sure. So I've grown to love the construct of Centers for Spiritual Living because it's about living the teaching. When I was a little Presbyterian, I'm going back to my little Presbyterian church because that's when I celebrated Easter, was back then. 8 or 9 years old, I said, okay, I got the stuff. I memorized the Bible verses. I got my little Bible. I understand who Jesus was and what he did. But now what am I supposed to do? What is it that I'm supposed to do to be like him? And there was never an answer for that. You know, I can repeat the Apostles' Creed to this day. It scares me that I can still remember all of it. And by the time I was 13, I was going, the whole time I'm saying it, I'm going, I don't believe a bit of this. None of this makes sense to me. I have a profound, beautiful relationship with the man Jesus, who he was. But if he was God, the only, it was just God came down. I'm being vulnerable now. If he was just God, then it doesn't matter what he said or did because it was God. What makes him special is the fact that he was a human just like every one of us, and he was so close to spirit that he was able to see what was wrong, and he was able to do these things and say these things, and never does he say, worship me. He says, follow me. Do what I'm doing. Everything I'm doing, you can do and more. That's what he said. He didn't say this, that, or the other. He just said, follow me. And I've found a book which is kind of Christian, so some of you might be afraid of it, and it's print on demand, so we don't have it in the bookstore. But it's called Loving the World with God. And it's about love. Because as much as I don't like Paul, he said one beautiful thing, perfect love casts out fear. If we want to get rid of the fear that we have around being vulnerable, around being real, around being who we are, we have to start loving ourselves and each other. We have to start looking, okay, I don't like what you just did, but I can see within you the little child that is perfect, whole, and complete and deserving of love. I can do work in the community, but I have to do it from a place of love, not from a place of anger or fear. I can create change in the world, but I have to do it from a place of love, not from rage. And there's this still, and she comes out every now and again on a Sunday, the little one inside of me who goes, that's just not fair. It's not fair. There's so much in the world right now that is not fair. And yet, as I'm watching it unfold, things are happening and changes are happening because loving people are stepping up and saying, we're going to do something different now. We're going to create something different now. Our vision is that in our organization is that we want a world that works for everyone. And someone in this book, Loving the World with God, she points out that the Lord's Prayer, that all Jesus was trying to do was establish the kingdom of heaven on earth. That was precisely why he was here, to teach people that we create heaven. We create the heaven right where or the hell. We create them both. And we have to decide whether we're going to be creating heaven or creating hell. But when we say the Lord's Prayer, thy will, God, Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. On earth. Thy will be done on earth. I read a beautiful rewriting of it, going back to the original Aramaic and translating it in today's language, and I'd like to share that with you because it's powerful and beautiful. Indwelling God, who are infused throughout all existence, we hallow thee with many names. Thy kingdom is within the human heart. We accept life for all that it can be on earth as throughout all creation. May we continue to draw sustenance from this earth, and may we receive forgiveness equal to our own. May we ever move from separation towards union, to live in grace with love in our hearts forever and ever. And I'll share that on the Facebook page later today so you guys can all have a copy of it. But to move from separation to union with love in our hearts. This is the call. This is what Jesus called us to do. This is what Islam calls us to do. This is what literally Judaism calls us to do. To include one another, to love one another, to care for one another, to do what is right for one another, and to hold one another in sacred space. I picked the Karen Drucker song today. There is a story about a Christ statue in Germany that during World War II the hands were blown off. It was a Christ standing with outstretched hands, not crucified Christ, but a reaching Christ. And the hands were blown off. And they hired a sculptor to replace, and then the church said no. And they created a plaque under the statue, and it said, "We are the hands of Jesus." And that just spoke so incredibly to my soul. We are the heart. We are the hands. We are the voice of Spirit on earth. And who we are and all we do can either be a blessing or a curse to the world, depending on how we do what we do. Karen, of course, only sings of blessings, and I want to focus us on blessings. But the idea is that we are to bring the kingdom of heaven here on earth by our actions, by living a spiritual life as a spiritual community together, helping one another, whether we're 10 years old or 100 years old. We all have a role to play. We all have a calling. I keep seeing that, I kept asking why somebody didn't do something, and then I realized I'm somebody. If I see something that calls me to action, to what's wrong here? Guess what? That's my consciousness. That's my soul going, yo, get up, girl. Do that thing. It's yours. If you see it, it's yours to do. And so that's what I want to look at. This little tiny book, she wrote it. They do, in her spiritual community, they do these retreats, prayer retreats where they work on stuff. And after the retreat, they're a 3-day retreat, and then they're asked for what are they going to do on the 4th day? And Easter is around the 3-day concept, crucified Friday, Saturday, God knows what happens, but Sunday arisen. Sunday arisen. Okay, that's the 3 days. Now that the energy, the essence of the Christ, which simply means the knowledge, the awareness, the awakening to the fact that I am both spirit and body. I am both human and divine. This is the truth of what is being taught, what it means to be a child of the infinite, of the G word, if that be the God, whatever we're talking about, it means we're all sacred. You're sacred. You might feel like Oprah here. You're sacred. You're sacred. We're all sacred. That tree is sacred. That truck is sacred. The dog poop is sacred. It's all sacred because it all exists out of the mind of the infinite. And if I can find a way to love, if I can find a way to cast out my fear and to love on the 4th day, on the day after the resurrection, now what? So Jesus rose, so what? What happens now? What do I do now? How do I behave now? The conference is over. I mean, every year we'd come from Asilomar and we'd go there and for a week be immersed in this just magical place. The physical place is beautiful, but then the conference itself was amazing. And it's like, how do I go back to the real world now? What do I do now? How do I bring this with me? And as we're looking at 50+3, a new beginning, how do we make this community a rich, safe place for kids, for teenagers, for old folks, for middle folks, for everybody, where everybody feels like they have the ability to traverse the cracks and the canyons, because there's a team of people here holding space, holding high watch, holding sacred space, holding love in their hearts for everyone around them. There is so much we can do. There is absolutely no freaking limit to what we can accomplish if we do it from a place of love and of knowing. I'll close with one last little thing. God does not love us. God is love. When we experience love, we are transmitting the energy of God. That's right. That is who we are. That is what we are made of. And all of the powerful, loving energy that the universe is composed of flows through us and is asking us to use it, to give it freely, to share it with others. So when I see something that doesn't look very lovable, what I need to remember is everything I see, even the legislature in Tennessee. My Kevin has been struggling with his home state. It's either love, which there's a lot of it going on there, or it's a cry for love. And sometimes the most deep and horrific cries for love are the least unlovable. We have to look past the acting out behavior to see the trauma that causes that kind of behavior. And while we don't approve of the behavior, we love the individuals knowing that somewhere in them there's a place that will wake up if I focus on that long enough, rather than on how awful they are. So that's about all I got to say today. Okay. And I will get a copy of that rewrite of the Lord's Prayer for you. And my practitioner of the day, there. I'm like, I got all these practitioners. I'm like, who? Bear with me. So you're blessing the offering. Woohoo!
Thank you. Is there a song first? No. Okay. It always feels like a brand new experience to me every time I do this. And I'm kind of grateful for that. There's nothing wrong with that. So my blessing for our offering is knowing that the money that we share is the spirit of energy, the energy of God in physical form. So the energy that we have put out in order to earn these pieces of paper is the energy of spirit expressing through us. And that as we give, we send that energy out into the world through our center, through other places that we may be donating, through other services that we may be supporting, to do good work in the world. So we're grateful to be able to have your energy here in all of its various forms. So if you would take your gift, your offering in your hand, or hold it over your heart, or your hands over your heart if you give electronically, and repeat after me. I bless this gift. I send it forth into the world to heal and prosper. I know it does very good work in the world. And it returns to me in abundance. And ushers, please receive the gift.
Everything in this world goes around, flowing with abundance, it knows no bounds. Giving and receiving, we circulate the love with gratitude and knowing there's always enough. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks with this offering. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks for everything. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks with this offering. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks for everything. Woo! And now welcome back, Haley Loren.
Hi. Thank you so much, Linda. So does anybody remember Garth Brooks in his heyday? So I remember hearing this song on the radio all the time when I was a little kid. It remains one of my favorite songs from that era of music, and it's called "The River." And to me, this song kind of spoke to the idea of being vulnerable for the sake of, being able to pursue what it is that calls to you in your life. And so I figured that this was a good Sunday for that, because it's all about vulnerability today and every day. Ooh, scary. But I hope you enjoy this tune. It's been like maybe more than a decade since I sang it here. I've been singing here a long time. You know, a dream is like a river, ever changing as it flows, and the dreamer's just the vessel that must follow where it goes, trying to learn from what's behind you, never knowing what's in store, makes each day a constant battle just to stay between the shores. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. And too many times we stand aside, let the water slip away to what we put off till tomorrow has now become today. And so don't you sit upon that shoreline and say you're satisfied. Choose to chance the rapids and dare to dance the tide. And I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. And there's bound to be rough waters, and I know I'll take some falls, but with Spirit as my captain, I can make it through it all. And I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. Well, these waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Oh, I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's hear it for our awesome music team. We're so blessed. Thank you.
Oh, we are so blessed. Yeah, I inherited Haley. When I got here, Matt was here, and Chris Ward was here, and Haley was here, and the choir director at the time, the music director, told me I needed to get Mo on board. And
Best decision ever.
so welcome. I wanted to comment. They've got the announcement screen up, so don't worry about it. But for those of you who are here, I want to thank Jan for doing the beautiful altar, and Kathy Kluppinger for bringing these incredible jonquils and daffodils here to just celebrate everything. It feels, and to you for being here and making it feel like old times with all the folks here. I'm feeling good. Feeling good, feeling good. Oh, okay, stop. Tuesdays at 10 a.m., men's coffee at the Alon Brothers Coffee Shop at 5th Street Market, run 10 till 11:30, 12, whenever they get tired of talking to each other. And anyway, so if you are a guy and you have Tuesday mornings off, head over there and enjoy that. The Wednesday evenings, our gathering, the wonderful Donna Starr, who was here as practitioner of the day, and her partner, Reverend Linda Lundry Starr, do that each week, and they're amazing. Yeah, we're happy.
Can I come up there and add it?
I don't know. Can she come up here and add something? I don't know.
Hi. So this month we are featuring a book at Wednesday night. It's called The Art of Possibility. We're using it to guide us through our Wednesday evening gathering discussions. And that book will be available in the bookstore for purchase.
So good. So there. So another reason to check out Wednesday evening for the opportunity to pick up and enjoy. This Friday, the 14th, is virtual game night with Kathy Day. Go to our website, csleugene.org, and they will get you a link to Kathy so that you can get the link to the game night and enjoy that on Friday night online. Don't have to leave your home. You can be in your jammies and whatever you want because you're online. Anniversary banquet is coming up next Sunday. Oh no, that's something else. Never mind. But we still have seats available. We can seat 50 people. Haley and Matt will be with us singing that night and playing, and we've got some guest speakers online lined up, and we're going to be having a silent auction. Oh, no, that's another piece, but Anyway, it's $50 for a ticket that includes dinner, entertainment, the ability to support the center and be in community together and just have a fun evening. So if that's on your Friday night agenda, come join us. And we're not messing with getting a one-day alcohol thing, but if those of you who do imbibe, you are free to bring your own bottle of wine. So if you would like to have wine with supper, you may bring your own wine. If you don't drink, then don't bring one. And St. Benedict's, our annual conference with Christy Snow and Jack Fowler, and I got a chance to Zoom with Jack this week, and oh, he's so excited to be coming out here, and he's going to have a video for us very soon. But that's where next Sunday is the deadline for the early bird pricing of $250 for the weekend. Now, $250 is money for most people. But that's 2 nights lodging, 5 meals, and a complete conference weekend. You know, that's a heck of a deal. I've looked around the organization, and most places are charging $500 to $600 for the same thing somewhere else. So it's not that this is cheap, it's just that we're not doing it to raise money, we're doing it to allow as many people as possible to come. So if you are interested, and then we'll still be selling tickets right up to the end, but they'll be $300. And I am delighted to let everyone know that our beloved Astrid, who moved to Vernonia and is up at Cedar Creek Campground, is going to be catering the event. So yay! So they have regular vegetarian and vegan options for everybody. So it's good stuff. So. And our book boutique has got all kinds of fun stuff. Brick is here today, so check it out in the bookstore. We've got books, we've got fun things, and just come. And we have magnets. Just go talk to Brick. It's just fun to just go talk to Brick anyway. So anyway, and opportunities for service. Jan would love to have somebody take over the altar. If there's anybody here who has kind of an artistic bent and a flair, you just do an altar once a month. She's gone overboard because it was Easter and been doing change-ups, but it's just preparing an altar at the end of the month for the first, for that month. And if you have any interest in that, please let me know, because we would love to be able to. Well, she's finishing at the end of this month, so let's just put it this way. If you see a naked altar in May, that's because nobody volunteered, okay? Oh, and Trish Vowles is the artist here. All this beautiful art, and I just found out today that is Linda Lundry's aunt, Linda Lundry Starr's aunt. Can I come chat about that for a second? Yeah. I don't know. They're getting awful pushy, I swear.
That's what they say. You give a minister a microphone.
Uh-huh.
Hey, so if you haven't, the other cool thing about the anniversary dinner is that I'm going to be there. Me and my wife are going to be there. So come have dinner with us. It's going to be great. So yeah, the art around the sanctuary is painted by my aunt, Trish Vowles. And she said to me, she said, well, I said, why didn't you put prices on them? And she said, well, I didn't think anybody would want to buy them.
Everybody wants to
So
buy them.
what I do know is I do have a price list at home. They are numbered on the back. So we will get the price list to the office. If you are interested, you can also email preacherchicks@gmail.com or call the office this week for the pricing. I can tell you that they run anywhere from $15 to about $60, and they're very reasonable. A couple of them can be bought either as a set or individual. So I'm going to be excited to tell her how many people like it, but if you're interested, the price list will be in the office this week. Yeah.
It's just that you kind of have to leave them here until the display is over.
You rent to own is what you're going to do. So now I call, let's see, who do I call? Oh, yeah. Reverend Don is going to talk about our practitioners, and then we do our close. Oh, and I am pleased to announce there's all kinds of sugar-filled treats in the social hall. We have brownies, we have donuts, we have donut holes, we have little tiny baby cinnamon rolls. I mean, whatever is your, deepest, fondest desire, we got some.
I was scared what I thought she was about to say. Right? I am. So, as well as being a minister, before I was a minister, I was a practitioner. And, the saying goes, once a practitioner, always a practitioner. The other saying is that we're all practitioners. We're all in practice of the spiritual principles and the teachings of Ernest Holmes here at the center. But what we also have are trained and licensed practitioners. These are people who have taken lots of classes, done lots of deep introspective work, continue to do the deep introspective work so that they can practice with you in knowing the truth of who you are and reminding you of the truth of who you are, because I don't know about anyone else in here, but sometimes I forget. So I would like to invite our practitioners to stand, and if you would please introduce yourself. I want everyone to know that the practitioners are available for a brief spiritual mind treatment after service. We have 2 rooms in the back that are available for privacy if you'd like to have a spiritual mind treatment with one of our practitioners after service. And I'm Reverend Donna. So thank you, everyone.
Begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, we are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
You choose, please repeat after me. I love,
I love,
I live,
I live,
and I love some more.
and I love some more.
And so it is.
And so it is.